Hey everyone, it's Miss Marnik. Yesterday we started working on Daily Common Core Review number 5. You may have gotten to finish it, you probably didn't, so today we are going to check it together. So just like last time, go through this video, pause, rewind, take your time, and make sure at the end that your page looks exactly like mine, or you're going to have to fix it and do it again. So go slow, take your time, and make sure everything matches exactly. Alright, number 1. Write the matching equation. 3 times 2 is the same as 1 times 6. So automatically I see matching. I know that means it has to be perfect, everything in the same order. Equation I know means equals. So this is going to have an equal sign. I see 3 times 2, times I know means multiply, is the same as, again, means equals. And then 1 times 6. I'm going to need to multiply. So now I just make the equation match exactly. I see the number 3 times 2 is the same as equals 1 times 6. Okay, we are skipping number 2, so you can just go ahead and cross that out and move right on to number 3. Number 3 says there are 48 Pringles in a can, so underline 48. There are 12 Oreos in the package. How many times more, many times more, I know I'm going to multiply here, Pringles are there than Oreos? And here's the question, how many times more? So I know that many times more is always going to go first. So I'm going to draw my arrow down. The problem is I don't know how many times more. That's what I'm trying to solve. So I'm going to put a question mark here. But how many times more? So I'm going to set up my multiplication problem. I know I'm versing something. So I have the Pringles versus the Oreos, and I know that's going to equal the Pringles. So this is the one I don't know. Oreos is going to be 12, that's how many are in the package, and the Pringles that I have is 48 right here. So now I can figure out how to solve. I can just think in my head, what times 12 equals 48? If I don't know that, I can set up a division problem, an inverse operation. So I would flip the equation to say 48 divided by 12 equals, then I can get out my calculator. 48 divided by 12, it tells me that it equals 4. Over here, I can put my 4 and circle it, put my 4 here, circle it so I know what the answer is, and then I have to write my complete sentence. There are 4 times more Pringles than Oreos. Double check your work right now. Make sure you have a capital letter and a period, and your sentence looks just like mine. Number 4. Kylie wants to put the 24 kids into 6 groups. How many kids will be in each group? As soon as I say C in each group, I know I'm multiplying or dividing, but I need to figure out which one it is. So I have 6 groups, so I know that has to be my groups. I'm going to label that with a G. 24 kids is my total, the number of kids that I have that are going in each group. So if I'm trying to decide between multiplication and division, if I know the total looking at my window, I know that it's going to be division, because division is set up as total divided by the group is going to equal how many are in each group. So this time in each group means I'm going to be dividing. So now I just plug in my numbers. 24 kids is my total. For groups, I have 6, and then equals in each group, that's what I don't know. I can do 24 divided by 6 if I know it. I could also do the inverse operation if I wanted, but I'm just going to get out my calculator. 24 divided by 6 equals 4. I'm going to go ahead and put 4 here. There's 4 in each group, and circle my number. And I have to write my complete sentence. There will be 4 kids in each group. Number 5, Eric purchased 458 pieces of candy. So we have Eric, 458 pieces. Alex purchased 1,234 pieces. About, I know about is important. If I look at my math windows, about means I'm going to round. About how many more candies? How many more candies I am going to subtract here. And then that C is just saying that candies is our variable. Did Alex buy than Eric? So my question here is how many more candies? I'm going to label that number 1. And I'm comparing Alex and Eric. So I know if I'm subtracting, I'm going to set up bigger minus smaller is going to equal my difference. So I can tell 1,234, that's my bigger number. 458 is my smaller number, and the difference is going to be what I'm going to solve. So I can set up my problem here. Bigger minus smaller is going to equal the difference. So I'm going to set it up 1,234 minus 458 is going to get me my difference. I underline this word about here. That means I need to round. So I'm not going to solve it like this. I'm going to draw an arrow, and I'm going to round. I always round to the biggest place. So my biggest place here is in the thousands. I'm going to circle that 1. I look to the right of it to the 2. My rounding rule is 5 or above, give it a shove. 4 or below, let it go. There's a 2, so I can just let it go and round to 1,000. At 458, my biggest place is my hundreds place, the 4. I underline the 5. I know 5 or above, give it a shove. So I'm going to round my 4 up to a 5. And now I'm going to go ahead and subtract. 0 minus 0, 0 minus 0, 0 minus 5. I'm going to need to regroup. Change that to a 0, that to a 10. 10 minus 5 equals 5, and then 0 minus nothing is 0. So I get 500. I label here, bigger number, smaller number, the difference. Here's my answer, so I'm going to circle it. And now I write a complete sentence. Alex bought about, don't forget your word about, 500 more candies than Eric. All right, number 6, one more to go. Number 6, Madison saved 3,287 rocks. Morgan saved 1,398 rocks. How many more? I see how many more. I know I'm going to subtract. How many more rocks did Madison save than Morgan? There's our question, just 1. I know I'm subtracting, so just like in the last problem, I'm thinking bigger minus smaller is going to equal my difference. So my bigger number is 3,287, smaller number 1,398. My difference is what I'm trying to solve. So I set up my problem, 3,287 for bigger, 1,398 for smaller, and now I can subtract. 7 minus 8, there is more on the floor, so I need to go next door and get 10 more. Cross out my set 8, change it to a 7. Then I take that 10 and bring it over to the 7 over here to change it into 17. 17 minus 8 is 9. Then I move over to have 7 minus 9. Again, I have more on the floor, so I need to go next door and get 10 more. I get 10 more from my 2. I change it to a 1. Add 10 to the 7. That becomes 17. Now I have 17 minus 9. That's going to equal 8. Moving along, I have 1 minus 3. Again, more on the floor. Go next door and get 10 more. Cross out that 3. Change it to a 2. I add 10 to that 1 over here. So 11 minus 3 is going to equal 8. And then finally I have 2 minus 1, which is going to equal 1. Add in my comma to get the difference of 1,889. And circle my answer. Now I write my complete sentence. Madison saved 1,889 more rocks. And it's always good to check my work with my calculator, especially when you have a subtraction problem with a lot of regrouping like that. So I'm going to pull out my calculator and plug it in. So 3,287 minus 1,398 equals 1,889, just like I got. So I know that I'm good to go. All right, nice work, everybody. Go back, make sure your page matches mine exactly, and turn it into the bin.